Hello my dear friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to discuss about some of the confusing IELTS task 2 question statements which students had to deal with in their IELTS exams for essay writing in IELTS writing module. So why some of the topics or some of the question statements are confusing. So first of all, let's understand that how can we make judgment or how can we say that this particular question statement is confusing ones. There are 2 to 3 points which I would like to mention here. First thing is ambiguity. Now, what is that? It means that there is not much clarity in the question statement. You are reading a question statement which you got in your exam, and then it is not conveying the proper exact meaning. There are more than 2 or 3 interpretations of that particular statement. Means there could be 2 3 4 meanings for that statement. As we all know that when there is something ambiguous, it can have more than one meaning, right? So when we read any question statement in IELTS exam and it is having more than one interpretations, at that time we can say that the question statement is ambiguous. Means we don't get the exact idea what we have to write. The interpretations will vary person to person. One person is interpreting it in a different way and the other person is getting its meaning completely different than that first person, right? And when there is ambiguity, means we don't have clarity what is demanded from us, what should be the task response, or what is the requirement of the question, what we need to write in the answer. Means we are confused that what is the exact meaning of that question statement. It can lead to misunderstanding of the topic. We don't get the question clearly and we write inaccurate task response, which can lead to the deduction of our band score. There are many cases when we see that some of the students who have good knowledge of English grammar as well as they have knowledge of lexical resources, means they can write their answer well, but they couldn't understand the question properly because the question statement was confusing. So that's why they couldn't write well in their final IELTS exam, and they lose their score. So there are many stories of the students who after the exam they say that they misinterpreted the question. So here is the one example of such confusing questions. Question is, some people think that schools should select students according to their academic abilities, while others believe that it is better to have students with different abilities studying together. Now I have underlined, highlighted the words according to their academic abilities. Means schools should select students according to their academic abilities or on the basis of different abilities. Now this is a confusing statement. Why? Because as for some of the people, academic abilities, they could have the definition of academic abilities in different way, and they can understand something different from the term different abilities which is used in this question statement. Now the question is about discussing both the views and giving your own opinion. Now, as per my knowledge, if I understand from this academic ability term, it could be, according to me, academic abilities are when we judge the performance of a child on the basis of subject, means subject wise performance, or how he or she is getting grades, and about it could be about assessments, it could be about studying, it could be about test taking, or the students written and verbal communication, or how he or she is taking notes in the class, reasoning skills, cognitive skills. All these terms help us to understand the academic abilities of a student. Means these all terms are related to the academic abilities, right? That thing is a bit clearer, what are the academic abilities. But what can a reader or the student can understand from different abilities? Let's see what could be the different abilities. Student to student, different interpretations could be there for this term. One student can understand, look at the first column, one student can understand from this term that there is the comparison between the academic performance of a student, means there are some students who are having good academic performance, or there are some students who are having different abilities, means there are some students with weaker academic ability, or there is one group of students who are having brilliant or excellent academic ability. I have to compare these two students, means I have to discuss these two views. There are some students who are quite brilliant in studies, and there are some students who are weaker in studies. So I have to categorize this thing, and I have to explain why schools should select students according to their poor academic performance, or good, on the basis of good academic performance. One student can understand this thing from this statement. Second thing is, there could be one student who understood from this statement that I have to make comparison on the basis of creative versus academic skills, means there are some students who have good academic skills, as I mentioned earlier, that subject wise performance is good, they are getting good grades, they are making assessments properly, they are studying, etc. Or I have to compare with those students who are having different abilities, such as they are quite creative, means they have creative skills such as fine arts, crafts, designing, music, drama, dance, or creative writing. So one student can understand from this statement that I need to compare these two things. There are some students with good academic abilities, and there are some students who are having good creative abilities. And there is the one student can also understand this thing from this statement, that I have to discuss two views. First view is that they are saying that schools should select the student according to academic abilities, means some students are just interested in science subjects, or some are interested in mathematics, some want to adopt commerce stream. So in this way, according to their interest in a particular stream, students should be divided, or students should be selected. So one student can understand this thing from that statement. So it shows that there is no clarity in the statement. What do they want to convey by writing different abilities? What comes under this particular thing, different abilities? Now let's discuss. Suppose one response is based on this comparison: brilliant academic studies or weaker academic studies. So answer could be like this: if they are together, both students from both groups are together sitting in a single class, or studying together, then what could be there? It can lead to a deliberate learning, means they will see each other. Students with poor academic performance are sitting there together with the students who are having good academic performance. So if they are sitting together, they can see each other, they can get motivated from each other, and it could be a deliberate learning, means peer pressure would be there, they would get motivated, encouraged to perform better. So that's why motivation would be there. And they cannot explore maximum potential. This is the drawback. Why this is the drawback? Like, all the brilliant students are there, all the weaker students are there who are weaker in studies, right? But brilliant students are studying faster, right? They want to explore more and more, but they have to cope up with the learning speed of the weaker students. So their full potential is not utilized, and it can lead to the psychological impact both on brilliant student as well as on the weaker students, minds of the weaker students. Why? Because weaker students can feel demotivated, or they can feel any kind of complex that other students are studying better than them. And on the other hand, some of the brilliant students can also have some of the psychological impacts, they have to make their pace of learning, maintain their pace of learning as per the learning speed of those weaker students who are weaker in studies. So it can lead to some of the psychological impacts. However, if grouping is done, it can lead to an effective learning. It could be more standardized, right? It could be easier for the teachers because they can teach according to the requirements of the students, and that would lead to the easier lesson delivery in the classroom. And according to the requirement of the students, appropriate techniques, teaching techniques can be applied. So this is the one way how the answer of this question can be written. Then we come to the second interpretation, that one of the student understood that I have to write like this. Students are categorized according to their creative skills versus academic skills. So if these students are put together in a class, what could be the benefits and what could be the drawbacks? First of all, they can explore their hidden talents. For example, in a classroom, if those students are sitting who are good, who are having good academic ability, and there are some students who are good in creative skills, both the groups are sitting together, they can explore their hidden talents. For example, if there is one student who is quite brilliant in studies, but he is hesitant, he is quite reluctant to sing or to paint. So by observing those students who are having creative skills, they can also get motivated to explore their hidden talents. In the same way, there could be some students who are having good creative skills. They can get motivated to polish their academic skills by seeing those students who are good in studies. So overall, all the students try to become all-rounder in the class, and so they also learn from their friends and classmates. If the students from both the categories are grouped separately, it could be a better strategy. It could be easier for the teacher, and lesson delivery again would be easier, and it would be more relaxing. Like a teacher can emphasize or focus on different skills of students in different classes, and suitable methodologies could be adopted to deliver the lessons, and it can lead to more specific learning. If creative skills are being taught to them, they can focus on creative skills. If academic skills are being taught to them, they can focus on their academic studies. So this could be the second understanding of the same question statement. Now let's talk about the third approach, which could be adopted by any student. Here the student can have understanding about this topic, that students should be categorized on the basis of streams, on the basis of their subjects, like they are belonging to a single stream, means all science students are there in the class, or students studying literature are there in the class, or students from multiple streams should be there in the class studying together. Suppose a student understands from this question statement that I have to divide students on the basis of streams they are belonging to. I don't think there could be any benefit for this approach, and it can be completely disadvantageous. Because the students who are studying different subjects, they cannot study together. So streaming is beneficial here. Again, same benefits are there, again positive aspects are there, that it would be well effective strategy, convenient for the teacher, lesson delivery easier, and it would be more relaxing for the teacher as well as for the students, and suitable methodologies will be adopted by the teacher. And lastly, one point is added here for the elaboration of the topic, that there would be improved comprehension of the students, because they will understand the concepts clearly if only main subject is being taught to the student in a single class. So this could be the third approach. So my dear friends, as you have just seen that sometimes in IELTS writing task 2 there are some confusing statements, and that is the reason why sometimes students don't get their desired band scores in their IELTS writing. Although they have attempted the task very well, but they were unable to fulfill the criteria of task response, which can lead to their lowered band score. So I will be posting more videos regarding that theme, confusing IELTS task 2 questions. So this was the first video. I hope it will help you to understand these confusing topics. So see you in the next video. Take care.